Welcome everybody to Mr. Straight Facts Show. I am Mr. Straight Facts. All right, I'm gonna get in on it today. There's a few stories that I wanted to talk about. One, I wanted to lift prayers up for the young lady and the young man whose life was taken way too early. I'm gonna show them up right now if I can. There we go. Um, no, that's the wrong people. Sorry. There they are. Um, This is Sarah Milgram and Yaron Lachinsky. They lost their lives over some things we're going to talk about later. A guy at the end said something, that the person who unalived him said something about he did it for Palestine. I'm not going to mention his name, doesn't deserve it, but sorry for them and their families. Prayers lifted up for y'all. But we are going to talk a little bit later about how all this can be avoided, because this is something that's been going on for a long time, and I am a person of that focuses on facts. And if facts were the matter, these two would be alive, and that man wouldn't be so hateful and angry enough to go and take people's lives. I'm a real believer in therapy. You know what I'm saying? And I really believe that Palestine and Israel need therapy and some truth brought to the light. Okay. And whether, like I said, I know there are going to be some people going to be mad at me, but I don't care. I don't do this to make you like love or hate me. I do this because the truth must come to the top. If the truth does not come to the top, you can't be healed through any kind of therapy, because you're so hardened by your misperceptions of reality that the misperception is what you got your heart die hard about. And instead of dealing with the realities, and therefore, you can actually heal once you go through that cathartic moment, like what's the truth as opposed to what's the lie. And this is all because of history not being told truthful. It's as old as the same ideals of Christians and Protestants, of African people and indigenous people and slavery. It is just as old as that, and the truth must come to light in order for it to be fixed. And if it doesn't come to light, we really can't be shocked by the things that come out of it. So we're going to talk about that in a minute, but I wanted to send prayers to them and their families for the tragedy that they had to endure. I won't go into details. You can read it because it's pretty gory what happened to them. All right. In other news that we talked about yesterday, I remember speaking to you guys about um, uh, President of South Africa, Mr. Ramaphosa, right? And Donald Trump designed or a hit piece on him and his people as they sat there coming to him to talk about things that both countries can work on. And as the president of South Africa came with open mind and open heart, Trump came with hate and a hateful process put together, filled with lies, no facts. Um, and if there were any factual moments in it, they were misrepresented. So we're going to go over that next. Okay. Uh, there we go. As you see, this is going to be the BBC. We're going to skip through and go down to the idea of when you saw this video of these people driving, and it was so far away we couldn't see it, but we saw cars driving. Some of these cars were tractors, and it was about farmers, but those crosses are not how many farmers have died. Those crosses are a memorial for two farmers that were unalived. A family, I guess, a wife and her husband who owned a farm, those people were unalived, right? Donald Trump misrepresented this and said each one of these crosses was a dead white person, farmer. Now, anybody who takes the truth and twists it like that, why would you trust another word of his? This man tried to make South Africa seem like the most horrific thing on the planet. And I don't know this country from Adam, but I'm not going to lie on them based off of this. If there's something going on that's bad in the country, the crime that's going on, report those crimes. But don't try and make it seem like, oh, let's go ahead and take these people. Do you understand what it takes to rehearse a lie? To look at something and say, what are those crosses for? Oh, it's because, they had a memorial for the two people who were killed. Okay, we're going to make each one of those a death so we make it a little bit more stronger. We can sell it. Do you understand the hatred you have to have, the disconnect from reality? Like you don't give a fuck about anybody or anybody's perception. I just want you to perceive what I think it is. That you organize this. You see how Donald Trump was literally doing this like a slideshow, like he was giving a presentation to pitch a TV show. He knew what each slide was, and he knew how to summate each slide. Okay, can we go to the next one? This one right here is all the farmers who have died, blah, 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 blah. And then that guy is he had rehearsed this. Knowing he was going to lie to the American people to justify bringing those white South Africans to this country to leapfrog people who have done the system within the system. The whole problem was, right, people getting into this country not the legal way. Remember, the Republicans used to say, I want the immigrants here. I just want them to come here the legal way. Well, the ones who have been waiting the legal way got leapfrogged the illegal way just because the skin of those people were white. Because over here, no more white people have been killed than black. In fact, more black people have been killed. And you notice another sign of what he said that lets you know he was being racist as fuck. Donald Trump. He literally said that the black guy said, the president said, Ramaphosa, he said, there is crime in my country. Honest, right? There are more black people being unalived than there are white. It's not just white people. Facts. Look it up. Facts. Okay. But then Donald Trump, trying to negate that, what'd he say? He literally said, well, the farmers aren't white. Put a pause on that. Why did he say the farmers aren't white? See, he has to know the history of this country in order to perpetuate the lie. He said the farmers aren't white. He knew that to be true. How you know that true, Donald Trump? Because when they colonized the place and all the apartheid shit, right? 90-something% of the people who live there are black. It would make sense that they own most of the land, correct? No, they know that they unalived a lot of Africans and stole their property. And the majority of the farmers there are white. Even though they make up 7%, they own over 90-something% of the land that they farm. Why is that? Oh, yes, right. You're accusing them of doing what you did to them. And you're saying that, oh, if the black people do it, it's wrong. When you did it, it was just colonizing. It's not a bad thing. But the reality is they're not doing that. They're not doing that. But Donald Trump has you believing that, not necessarily me or you, but these MAGA people believe in that. He's got people like the news literally kind of like skating by for most of them. And then there's some who actually bring it up. I didn't see anybody today in the news sphere, except for in print, literally come out and call Donald Trump a liar, that he made this shit up. It's people like me and other people who are content creators and my mutuals who are coming out and saying, look at this article, look at this article. They did the fact check. These individuals were here for two people who got killed, and those actual crosses are not for each body. It is for just those two, a memorial. And white people, along with black people, have been getting killed this entire time. Is it right? No, it's completely wrong. But that's just like us sitting here and watching, the one guy who was in Vegas unaliving 50 something people, or at least hurting 50 something people, and then somebody coming to this country and literally just saying all white people are criminals, and they, that one dude killed all those people, and we just had a long line of crosses and saying this is white America. They murder all the time. All white people murder. Would that be fair? It would not. But that's what they're doing to them, making it seem like their entire country is like this, when this is literally representing two people who were unalived. Wrong as it may be. Do we know what happened to the people who unalived them? Are they behind bars? They don't care. See, their agenda is to get hatred brewed up, division brewed up amongst black and white people in this country, so that you can accept white people, these Africans coming into this country, white Africans, and saying it's fair for it to happen because they're trying to unalive us. They want you to assimilate with their whiteness, not their Africanness. And it's working for many people. They're trying to justify it. And if you don't seek the facts, you'll believe the BS in which they spew. They're trying to divide us. And for many, it's working. But for me, I expose it. As you can see, this is the same location. If this was an actual memorial, they do not take up the crosses. If those were bodies, the bodies would have a cross on it forever. Think about our military. All those crosses are white crosses. They don't pick them up after Memorial Day. They're there for good because it's a grave site. He called this a grave site. Now, here's the point, like I mentioned even I think yesterday. If you were naive to believe, I knew it was alive from the moment I saw it, from what he described it. Only because I saw where these grave sites are at. Supposed grave sites. They're on the side of the road. Who puts a gravesite on the side of the road? You put memorials on the side of the road. As you pass them, you see who died over here in this area. See, this might be their land, and they got a cross all down their land of these people who died and lost it. That makes more sense. Then that's a gravesite for each white person that is a farmer that died. I was like, damn, there's a lot of white farmers there that died. How many they got left if all those people died? For miles, you got this. It made no sense. It was not enough room for a body. Who's going to bury a body on the side of the road? I mean, that's roadkill area. You don't respect your family if you're going to bury them right there. That didn't make any sense. But no, these nitwits believe that shit off the rip. And I'm sitting there like, no, that ain't real. I already knew it, but I had to find out more. So now, this is the exact location. Do you see any at all of crosses there? Nope, you don't. You do not. They brought up this guy right here. He is a part of a party. He's not a part of their government. He is part of a party that is against everything that happened. It's almost to say if you had the Black Panthers again against, down with what they said, down with Whitey and all stuff like that. They weren't talking about unaliving white people. They were saying if a white person come up and does something to me, I'd be damned if I ain't gonna turn around and do the exact same thing to him. So it's gonna be mano a mano. You slap me, I'm gonna slap your ass back. As opposed to be like, oh, sorry, boss. They were gonna slap you back. They weren't going to find trouble. They were saying if a white person came to them with trouble, you gonna find that bitch and you're gonna be sorry you did. I'm not gonna be scared and wait for you to hang me. I'm gonna light your ass up. That's all they were saying. Same situation here. We're not taking your shit anymore. And if you fuck with us, it's a must we fuck with you. That's all they're saying. It's the same, like down with Whitey. The same thing here, down with the farmers. Now, I don't know this man from Adam. He might be a unaliver, big time. He might be a killer. I don't know. But when the president says these people are not with us, they're a fringe group that does their thing, and under our bylaws, they can do it, but our government doesn't do it. That's the same thing here. I don't abide by what the KKK does, but they have marches all the time. Jews do not replace us. That's their right to do. So it's fair for other countries to come here and say, oh, that's how all white people are. The Jews not replace us, that's all white people. That's how that country runs. Yet you don't want any white people saying that this is a racist country, even though it is. And you want to, not necessarily people here, but Donald Trump and his minions want to say this is the way South Africa is, based off of a dude that's the richest man in the world. That's one of the most hateful people in the world. Put up the Hitler sign and just says, oh, I was just excited. And we're supposed to believe it. I wish he had did it in Germany. They would have arrested his ass. But still, we didn't learn anything from the past. This man is lying on this group here. They are a radical group. They're not the ones empowered. Albeit there was a group, there was a former president who was a part of this group. He left office in 2018. But he wasn't a part of it. And since then, he kind of like renounced it, but he wasn't a part of it. He was a part of it while he was president, but he wasn't trying to do that to certain people. So that's the truth. It didn't happen. He wasn't unaliving people. They don't have any evidence of that as of yet. If it happened, it's not presented as facts. The documents that you saw Donald Trump with, this shit right here trip you out. The documents in which he is holding in his hand is not about the South African people whatsoever. It is not about a woman killed in South Africa. It is about a woman killed in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. I don't understand, Americans, how we validate this evil, because that's what it is. You take the life of a Congo woman who was killed for Lord knows reason why, and because it's small and you don't think people are going to catch it up close, you put it out there. This man had a pile of papers. I was trying to read it while it was live. I'm looking at it like, that ain't got nothing to do with the country. That ain't got nothing to do with the country. And he stops at one and says, oh, somebody's alive and unalive. It was the Congo. And he professed to be like, I don't know what you're talking about, but this is what's happening there. You guys are killing white people. And the guy's like, no, I'm not. That's not what we're doing. Just listen to people whom, have been allies to this country for years. Listen to what they got to say. They got documentation. Fine, you'll understand better. No, he's not there to understand. He's there to push propaganda and justify bringing more white people in this country and villainize people of color. A part of me was like, what, South Africa, are you doing? I know you may need something, but please act like China. Say fuck us. Please do. Say fuck America and keep on moving. Please do. Sell your shit to China. Fuck America. Keep going. Do that. Because it pained me for you to sit there and try to be diplomatic and kind and nice to this evil shit-tard. I am sick of my people debasing themselves for these pigmentation-lacking bastards that want to sit here and act like they're better than you just because of his orange skin. Obviously, his intellect is highly lacking. And I'm tired of debasing brown people because of these types of white people that act like they're better even though they're stupid. Just because you're evil and can manipulate people, that doesn't make you smart. That makes you evil. It makes you you're a narcissist. You have no feelings. All you care about is manipulating people to get what you want in life, because your intellect by itself and the merits in which you house aren't enough. You must cheat, scrape, steal, and everything else. Grift to be able to make it. Without grifting, this man is homeless. There is no talent or skill in him but grifting. He couldn't own businesses. They all failed. He's at a luncheon or dinner right now grifting people for some meme coins that aren't even physical coins. They're worthless. They're not even Bitcoins. Estimated that he's made over $400 million just in that alone, and also just took control today of a $400 million plane. It's in America, y'all. Sitting on some tarmac or in some covered area. A $400 million bribe. And if you don't think if that country needs something for Donald Trump, they ain't going to be able to get him on the phone and have him do it, then you're stupid. Nobody gives up a $400 million plane. They couldn't even give it away to other people. Other countries would not take it. He offered it, from what I found out, at least 2 other countries leaders, they didn't want it. They didn't want the hand-me-down. Sir Idiot took it and made America look like the cheap hoe that we are. Not the American citizens. America, the leader. Insane. This man literally put the death of a Congo woman up to say that a white person died. That right there is the fact check on the videos and photographs that this man and letters that he gave. Do you understand? He gathered those papers together and handed it over to the president of Africa as if this man could not read. Knowing that if this man got it and said, hey, this ain't even our country, he knew that this man wouldn't do that right there at that meeting. And that they needed this relationship to be mended again because they cut money off of this country based off of those fake lies. We give countries money all over the place for different reasons. And we had funding going to them and shut it off based off of these baseless fucking lies. In South African dipshit Elon Musk. And then tried to validate their lies at a meeting. They had these people with a gun to their heads. They're trying their best to be nice and cordial while this racist fuck is literally disrespecting them, slapping them in the face, lying about them to the entire world. It's just sickening. These are sick people. To justify that, to literally print out articles just for the sheer size of it. I don't care if it's real. I don't care. Put it in there. Put a monkey getting killed. Put a cowboy getting killed. Put all that. I'm just gonna say they're all like, white people being killed. Let's go do it. There's not enough. There's only 3 white people that got killed in the last year. Oh, put other people, Africa, anything that black. Go ahead, just do it. I'm just gonna lie about it. No worries. That's what he's taught the Republican Party. The truth doesn't matter. And look at them. They got in power by lying to everybody, suckering everybody, their own party being suckered. Don't believe me? Look at, if I can get it up here real quick to the next photograph that I have for you. It's this family right here was a part of the Sucker Brigade. Yeah, this is a part of the Sucker Brigade. Right? What you're looking at is a Mississippi man, but he's actually Danish. His name is Casper Erickson. Been in the country for a while. He's a Danish national, traveled to Memphis for what he thought to be a final interview in his application for the U.S. citizenship on April 15, 2025. Mind you, this man's 31 years old. He's a welder in Mississippi. This man is here legally, married to an American citizen. Notice, they're white. Okay? He came here, and they called him to be able, and I'll give you an exact quote of, I think this is what his wife recounted. Says at 8 a.m., his wife is Savannah Erickson. At 8 a.m. on April 15th, she said, we arrived in Memphis for his final interview together. There, we were met by ICE agents. Casper, the husband, was detained for a paperwork miscommunication from 2015. And I was sent home with no explanation and no idea where my husband had been transported, she said. I was 22 weeks pregnant at the time, and as I drove the 3-hour journey back to Sturgis, Mississippi, to say I couldn't control my emotions would be an understatement. I don't relish in this lady's pain, but what you're looking at are Trump supporters. Not only are they Trump supporters, they pushed a lot of the hateful, disrespectful things about Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and others as they supported Donald Trump in everything. Their tweets or truths or whatever these particular things that they were using for social media was retweeting some of the most horrific things that Donald Trump said. They praised Donald Trump constantly. And on top of that, the Florida governor praised him too, said these are the 2 greatest people in the world and all that shit. And I'm like, you loved on Donald Trump thinking that he was going to get the brown people, knowing you were an immigrant, but you was here legally. They shouldn't have been able to touch you. In all honesty, they probably shouldn't have touched him, but why are they touching him? Well, based on them, they said that there was a form, the I-715, let me see, 751 maybe. I get the numbers wrong sometime. But, 751, form I-751. Now, they said this in the news, but they really didn't go into detail, like what is this form about? So I had to look it up. So this form 751 is really about, it's called the Petition to Remove Conditions on Residence. So what happens is that you come here in the country, lawfully, you have a conditional green card. Now, that green card is granted to you for 2 years, right? And, to individuals who've been married to a U.S. citizen. So his wife's a U.S. citizen. After those 2 years, to remove those temporary conditions to become a citizen, you have to file the form I-751 and become this permanent resident. That form, in his documentation, was either missing or never filled out. It was a miscommunication, but everything else was filled out. He always went to his place the immigration office that he had to go to whenever they asked him to come. When they told him to come this time, he thought it was just another meeting because they did not tell him that they're going to snatch his ass up. And that's exactly what happened. As soon as he got there, snatched him up. He's been in the exact detention center is, what's it called? I want to say it's LaSalle. Yeah, LaSalle Detention Center in Louisiana. Mind you, it's in Jena, Louisiana. He's from Mississippi, Sturgis, Mississippi. That's where he's living with his wife. About 3 hours away, like she said. So 3 hours away, this man is taken to another state and thrown in a detention center / prison. Looking at walls and other people who probably never filled out, it ain't even a form process. It's just people who haven't did the right thing. But he did the right thing. So why do they have this man snatched up, the Trump supporter? Because they're just trying to get rid of people. A power trip. This is when cracks happen in the system. I doubt he stays in there for a long time. After this gets a lot of attention, he's a white dude, they're going to eventually let him go. I would not doubt it. He's been in there for a minute, though. I could be wrong. But they took him. And Americans, specifically the 92% black women, almost 80% black men, and other people of color who knew, said, yo, you're not exempt. You're not exempt. This is not the first white person that's been snatched. There have been other people who've been snatched that aren't, who may classify as white. Remember, some Latin people can classify as white and have been for years. But they've snatched many. And here's the question I have. They snatched Asian people yesterday, right? And I'm trying to figure out what crimes did these people commit, because they aren't a part of MS-13. This man isn't a gang member. He's a law-abiding citizen. And I don't know anything about her having this family having a GoFundMe. I don't know anything about that, but I'm pretty sure they do, because he was the sole employment in the house. He was a stay-at-home mom. You see how many kids she has, or they have. So they're going to lose some stuff if he doesn't get out, I'm sure. But this is what happens when people follow their isms instead of when they realize, let's do right by people. Let's do right by people. It's easier. It's very much easier. Thank you, Swift Returns. I appreciate the gift. These people did not deserve what they got, but you voted for it. I mean, what did you think? This man cares nothing. If you had right now, I lied to you not, Mr. Casper Erickson. If you had about 3 million on you, you could probably pay your way to get back in. Because all they care about is money. We told you, poor white people, middle-class white people, these rich white people don't give a shit about you. Pay to play. They sucker you with this supremacy crap so that they can keep you under control. Say you're a part of our clan and you feel good that you're a part of something bigger than yourself, but in reality, they don't give two shits about you. You are a casualty. And you can look at history. Don't listen to me. I ain't making this up. Go look at history and you'll see how often they have left white people around behind. There has been vice presidents and people who are in power. I think it was Lyndon B. Johnson basically said, and I don't know the exact phrase, but he basically said, you make a poor white person believe they're better than the richest black person, and you can pickpocket him and do whatever you want to him. They'll give you all their money because you make them feel like they're better than the richest black person in the planet. They strategize to fuck you over, and you simp into it. Oh, really? I'm in this group, this white thing. No, they don't care about you. You're in this poor white thing. You are not a part of them. Now there's capitalism. You may become rich and get into the club, but more than likely you will not. It has always been people of color who's fought for all poor people, no matter what race, color, or creed you've been, have fought for those are the people who care about your financial situations. But you let the racisms or the other negative isms destroy whereas we are trying to build some kind of unity. You let that part destroy it all. Those of us out there who are like that have helped destroy the American dream instead of build it. But it's never too late. I'm working on it. I told you guys this Saturday, if you're a member, you should have received in my comments, in my member community, I gave you the link to the Zoom meeting we're having at 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time on Saturday, this coming Saturday. So that you know I did it. All right. So I told you earlier the $400 million Qatari luxury jet arrived today. Our president has officially taken a $400 million bribe. I want you to understand something. Before Donald Trump came into the picture, if a president or a senator ever took more than $20 or $50 or anything like that away from another national, another country, they'd be fined and could actually be put in jail for it. But this is how far wrong we've become. How far we've taken. We put in a criminal in office, and all he does is break the law. Because most of Americans that look like him don't want to hold him accountable, because holding him accountable is holding them accountable. They want to be able to do what he does, and he gives them the freedom to break laws and be racist in public and do disrespectful shit to people and don't expect any repercussions. Like the lady calling the child an N-word, a 5-year-old. How many white people came out, and probably other people who want to get close to proximity to white, gave that lady money. Here she is making almost $1 million for calling a baby who is mentally challenged an N-word at 5 years old. Evil, just pure evil. Another thing, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And his non-leadership, it came out today that the CDC is not warning Americans about diseases or anything else in this country. Remember, you could get notifications either in the news, or you can have your own little news notification or whatever it may be, or CDC notification, especially if you have like allergies or you're allergic to certain things, like, or if there was like somebody brought a fly over or something like that, and it's like, oh, we're having issues with possible malaria, mosquitoes, and things like that, and worry about all that. Those types of notifications to let you know to beware. Don't be afraid of everything, but just beware that we have a increase in whatever. You notice we're not getting those because they have put a stop to them, to notify the Americans of any kind of issue that may be a health issue. They don't want to tell you, because their whole thing is to say, we're going to make America healthy again. And the logic in which they're using? How many of you guys remember during COVID, when Donald Trump said that COVID was going to go away, and people kept saying whenever they saw him, he said it's going to go away in a day, it's going to go away in a week, it's going to go away pretty soon, can't wait till it's gone away, and you guys can stop asking me how many people, blah, blah, blah. And people were gathering up. Like, think about this. There were human beings, not cattle, human beings in refrigerators outside of hospitals. I don't think people grasp the levity, of that. You had freezers not filled with meat to eat. This wasn't a farm. You had freezers filled with dead bodies stacked up on top of each other. You had people not being able to go to the funeral of their families because they could possibly get whatever this person had. So these people, some burned, others put into graves, just mass graves, like grave after grave after grave. Not all thrown into one, but grave after grave after grave. Not knowing some of them are, things of that nature, because the family couldn't come. That wasn't all of them, but that was many. That's how bad it was. At that time, Donald Trump said we would have less COVID if we just stopped testing. How does someone who thinks like that ever becomes anything other than a fry cook? We would have less COVID if we just stopped testing for it. No, we would have less people saying they have COVID, but we would have more people dying because we're not controlling COVID. Do you understand? How we did less testing, how many more people would have died? With all the testing we did, we lost 1 million people. This fool said stop testing and we immediately be better off. And what is RFK saying? Stop giving the people information and we're going to be the most healthiest. How are we going to be more healthy when we're not notified on how to stay healthy? We don't know if there's a bug from some other country that's made it here and is infestated, and we can possibly get something from it, malaria or whatever. We've had other pandemics before. You guys understand, COVID-19 is not the first time we had COVID in this country. We've had other COVID experiences. It's just that other presidents nipped that shit in the bud. This dipshit left it alone. They're literally saying, leave it alone. You won't know if anything's growing or not. Out of sight, out of mind. Then what the hell are you there for? Robert F. Kennedy Jr., what's your job? Mr. Ignorer in Chief? I mean, I'm just going to ignore it. What? They got a disease floating around? All right, we're going to ignore it. We ain't need to. It'll fix itself. You mean we don't need to get doctors together and try and beat this thing off? Nah. Waste of time. Ain't nobody gonna die. Oh, well, we got 1,000 people gonna die for it. 1,000 people, man. We got 300 million. We good. This is what we got. Consider people who are horrible at their job, but as long as they're white men, they have merit. Terrible at it, but white skin makes you merit. We have to destroy this ideology, y'all. We need people who are educated, no matter what race, color, creed they are, in the positions to do the damn job. Fuck all this white nationalist BS, because it really is destroying everything. Do you realize it has been fucking 4 months? To the date almost, a day over 4 months. Look how these non-skilled white individuals that are running this country has fucked it up in 4 to 5 in 4 months. We got 3 years, 8 months left. And they get worse every day. This shit's got to stop, y'all. Americans got to step up and do something. I'm going to try and do my part, but we got to do something because this is insane. Your kids are not going to know if they're going to school with a kid that may have the flu 5 million. Because these fools aren't monitoring nothing. And if they do monitor something, oh, they want you to believe you're healthy because you don't know that you're not. How stupid is that? It's like a nightmare. Am I going to wake up sometime soon? Please wake me up. Somebody wake me up. We got dumbass people running the country, and the only reason they think they're smart is because of their skin color. There is nothing else that validates them for being in the positions that they're in. Kristi Noem, the dog killer, she's supposed to be somebody good. Her solving skills is to unalive something to solve it. Not to say, you know what, let me give this to somebody else who may be able to train them. This dog doesn't necessarily like me. No, she found a dog to be useless because it didn't hunt when she decided it to hunt. He couldn't even have his own thought processes. He wasn't hurting anybody else. Chickens, which he hunted after she had told him to hunt. That's her skills of how to cope and understand, like, this is a dire situation, you know, under pressure, he pissed me off, I just shot him, and wrote it in a book. Unalived a puppy. That's her problem-solving skills. And she's running parts of America, supposedly the greatest country in the world, now led by a bunch of idiots. It's a damn shame. Trump has been messing with Harvard, and today he went in a little bit further, saying that they can't have international students anymore. And it's conflicting information because they said effective immediately they couldn't have them. And then if you read on at the end, it says this goes into effect school year of 2025, 2026. So next year they can't. And right before I went live, they came out with a quote, or at least that's the first I saw of it. So I didn't get a chance to grab it, but a quote from Harvard saying they basically gonna keep going. They're gonna sue their ass for it. And you know what, Democrats, y'all need to learn something, and other people, Republicans, y'all need to learn something from Harvard. Those are the people that have the balls to stand up to these nitwits. They know they're gonna lose something, but they're not gonna lose their dignity. They're not gonna lose the prerequisite of their intellect so that they can appease an idiot. They want them to have a syllabus that these idiots design, and if they don't have it, they've been putting them under pressure. This has got to be illegal. And hopefully they go to the Supreme Court and get everything that they've been asking for back and then some. And maybe this can set a precedent for all the news stations out there to quit like catering to this idiot. Go in for a loss, okay? The people will back you up. Quit trying to win with the idiot. He's there for 4 years, okay? Not unless he continues to take it over and you let him do it. But he's there for 4 years. Your business is going to go on for longer than 4 years. If you're losing us by appeasing him, when he leaves, we're not coming back. I don't know what the short-sighted thinking is all about. You've been in business for decades, and you're trying to get approval from this idiot that's going to be in power another 3 years or so. It's crazy. You got enough money that you can fight this dude, but you choose not to because you're greedy. It's either democracy that you're fighting for or capitalism just by itself. We want democracy with capitalism. You just want capitalism, fuck the democracy. We have more power than you think, media, advertisers. We're the ones who buy your product. And we got our eyes on you, checking to see if you give a damn about the people or you care more about the profit. Because if you show that you care more about the profit, the people will leave and there goes your profit. Once the people recognize, they rise up and unite and realize they don't need you, you need them to stay rich and unify around that. Yeah, they in trouble. They are in trouble. And they know it. That's why they keep on spending millions and hundreds of millions to divide us. That's why they bring up fake things from the Congo and try to attach it to Africa so they can continue to the South Africans. So they can continue to try to cause this division, this hatred, this weakness when you have to lie on people to make yourself look better. And that's what they constantly do. Lie to make themselves look better. Got news for you. In front of people who are fair, kind, loving, you look like hateful tricks. That's a kind way to say it. And I myself am tired of y'all. 100% tired of them. Now, I got one more thing, and I know I mentioned this earlier. Take care, Just Listen podcast with Walt. Take care, man. Signing off. I got one more thing to talk about. And I mentioned this earlier when I first started because my first story that I told you about was about the young people, the Jewish people at the embassy in D.C. Who were unalived. In this platform, I can say murdered. I'm on different platforms. You can't say certain things on different platforms. And I had to, I know the history of all of this. And this is why I said I was going to talk to you about this, and people are going to like it, some people not. But we have to deal with the facts about what's going on in Israel and what's going on in Palestine. I've said this over the years on my TikTok. I did the research. I know the truth. And on my YouTube, I haven't touched it. And I'm going to touch it today. And hopefully, I'll have to touch it again. Um, we're going to go back to the reality of what happened between the Palestinians and the Jews. You have to go back in history to really kind of understand what went down and how, again, just like in America, there's so much whitewashing that has happened that a lot of Americans had no clue about the true history until they got on TikTok. Hell, I didn't know everything that I've learned until I got on TikTok, right? And so, as I found out through other creators, and not just their word, but for me to go research and find my own sources to either validate or negate what they said, then I started to become wiser. See, what happened here is we're going to go back to like 1945. There was that World War II, the Hitler and all stuff like that, and what they were doing to the Jewish people. And most people don't understand Jewish people were not the only people that were unalived. Black people and other people who weren't German, and their proof of German, whatever it is, nationalism, they unalived them too. But their main angst was with the Jewish people. And millions, as they account for 6 million, were unalived in some of the most egregious ways. We all understand that was a horrible time in history. That's not to be negated. But we want to understand that you hold people accountable for the actions in which they performed. You don't hold people who had nothing to do with said actions responsible for what was performed. Okay? So when we go back in history, it was the Germans that attacked the Jews, correct? The Jewish people. I feel bad saying Jews all the time. Jewish people. I'm not a Jewish person, so. They attacked the Jewish people. And you have to understand, prior to that happening to them, they lived in Germany. I don't know about how much in harmony they lived, but they lived amongst each other. And the Zionist Jews, which is roughly, if you understand what a Zionist is basically what we call here white nationalists. Zionists are like the Jewish nationalists. They really believe in just a Jewish nation, just Jewish people, right? Not that I don't know about how far they hated back then, any other culture, I have no clue, but they wanted their own Jewish land way before the Holocaust or the World War II. So all that being known, that they've always wanted that. It wasn't something that happened after the war. It was something they wanted prior to, and always wanted to go back because biblically it's where they believed they were from. Okay. And that's based off the Bible, where there were someone there by Israel in the Bible. And just like Israel, every time you had a group of people that liked you or led you to be the leader, they called you an ite. So you was an Israelite, you was a Canaanite, you was this, a Philistite, whatever the heck, all these other ones. You were the ites of that particular person. You were the followers of that leader. These people were not gods. They were just human beings that was talked about in biblical times. All right. So knowing the truth about that particular area and what was going on, they ended up having the Holocaust. The Germany wanted their white nationalists, right? And the Jewish nationalists didn't want to take over Germany. They wanted their own land back to where they always wanted to be. Always did, but they lived here because take it back anywhere 1,000 to 3,000 years ago, in their Bible, there is no actual documentation or some cave that they found that proves that this is true. It is in their Bible 3,000 years or so ago prior. They lived in the area in which Palestine was at. Now, Palestine, or the Jewish people, supposedly were kicked out by Romans and different other people and kicked out of the country. That is a part of the history. But they were brought back. They wanted to come back. And after there was a war over there, mind you, the Jewish people did not partake in the war that took over that particular land. That was much earlier than that. So they came back to after the war, they were promised. There was a document that was signed, and we can go into that. I'll get the exact name of this document that was signed that promised them that they would be able to get this land after that particular war had happened. All right. While I get that, we'll continue on. But anyway, when they had this doctrine that they had, this paper that literally said that the British who owned that particular area felt bad for what happened to the Jewish people, and therefore they immigrated or took them away from Germany and took them to Palestine. Now, the Palestinians, there have been some Jewish people that lived there, other cultures that always lived in that area, but the majority of them were Muslim and Palestinians, or wasn't necessarily called Palestine in a sense for some of it, but regardless, they had been there for a long time. It wasn't like they just took over. Remember what I told you before, that you got to give responsibility to those who did the actions. The people who harmed the Jewish people were the Germans, the Hitler people. It was not the Palestinians who harmed the Jewish people. So whenever we're talking about what happened with the Jewish people, we have a lot of people conflating it, making it seem as like it was the Germans. It wasn't the Germans. It was the Palestinians and the Muslims who did it. No, it was white people who were German that did this to them, this egregious act. That's a part of their history, and it was wrong. And mind you, Germany admitted it was wrong, took down anything that resembled anything that was Hitler-esque, and paid them reparations for what happened to them. And the reparations just ended, like, I don't know, a few years ago, somewhere in the 2000s. They were receiving reparations for that entire time. Okay? So they did right by the Jewish people after they had done wrong to the Jewish people. Now, going to Palestine, that area was not belonging to the Jewish people. That area was colonized by the Jewish people based off their biblical senses of believing, like, my Bible says so. And in 1948 or something like that, there's a war that goes on, right, that between these two, because of the fact that the British actually infiltrated by bringing these Jewish people to this country. Their main reason for bringing them there was to take it over. The people who were there were lied to and said that these people were coming over because of what horrific things happened to them in Germany. And these people were like, fine, they can come, welcome. But that was not the plan. The plan was to put as many Jewish people as they can, that they became the majority of people in that particular part of the country. And then they held a upheaval. And most people don't want to talk about this. They raped these people. They unalived these people. They stole their land. And the rest that were alive, they kicked them off of said land. And they took it by force. Yes, you heard me. If you don't believe me, go look it up. So by taking the land by force, what they essentially did was call themselves Zionists, which is white nationalists, is Jewish nationalists. And they took over a country that they did not own, never owned in real life, only in biblical life. So if I'm a Muslim and I don't believe in your religion, then you're just telling me, puff the magic dragon shit. I'm like, what the fuck you talking about? That ain't got nothing to do with me. But they came in and forced not only their religion and their ideology and their hate. They've been doing it for a long, long time. And because it was America that was there giving them the military aid to do it, but supposedly not actually giving them force, like human bodies to do it, but teaching them how to do it because we're the colonizers in fucking chief. We sat back and watched them unalive, murder, rape, pillage, all that to these Muslims who had nothing to do with what Hitler did to them. So we're justifying doing what Hitler wanted to do to the Jews in Germany, but never really accomplished. He just went on a murdering spree, but he never made it so that all Jews were gone, even though he tried. And again, that's horrific, but you're conflating the situation in which those Zionist Jews left that country and went and did the exact same thing, albeit they didn't put anybody in ovens, albeit they didn't kill the same way. They did the same thing. Don't make no mistake about it. So you go from being persecuted and oppressed to going and persecuting and oppress another group of people, and then say you're the victim for years. Oftentimes people don't listen to this. I'm telling you, these are the facts. I'm not saying anybody to this day is hateful or anything like that. I'm saying this problem will not solve itself. The problem will only solve itself, or even come close to solving itself, if you admit the truth. And just like the Germans did, even though now they're starting to have an upheaval of a far right group again, but for the longest times, the German people said, we're sorry for Hitler, we're taking Hitler's shit away, and we're going to pay you reparations. That's all they asked for. And that's what they got. Now ask yourself, why is it that this Zionist group of Jewish people, not all Jewish people are Zionists, but this Zionist group of Jewish people who are basically Jewish nationalists, white nationalists, they receive money for what happened to them and unaliving them and the horrific things that happened to them. Take away the idea, because what happens is oftentimes they try to like blind you with the 6 million people that died. That's horrific. That is very horrific. But if you unalive 2 million, and it's not a fucking numbers test, it is a reality that you were unalived, and that's wrong. You went to another country and unalived people like Hitler did, and you're right. They never attacked you. They didn't come to your country and take it over. You came to their country and did that, and have been doing it since 1948. Most Americans have no idea what you've done to them. And then when we go and research it, you want to call us anti-Semites. I want you to understand something, people. When evil people want you, and I'm not saying all people are evil, I'm saying this Zionist group from jump has always been about killing and taking people's land based off their biblical reasoning. You understand that America became America because Europeans did the same thing and said this was their biblical land. They used the exact same strategy. Don't believe me? Go learn your history. It was the same thing. They came to a land that was not theirs, only biblically. And like I said, if I'm not of your religion, you literally talking Scooby-Doo shit to me. Put yourself in that position as of today. I'm going to put myself in it to give you a better understanding. I was born, or better yet, raised in Indiana, in a house in Indiana on the east side of Indiana, Indianapolis, Indiana. And let's say that white people, racist white people, or even whatever, group of people, let's leave that out. Let's say a group of people kicked me off my land and I had to move. So I had to move to the west side of Indiana. And then multiple years later, I move and I end up landing up in California, have a bunch of babies and family. And 1,000 years later, my kids, or the ancestor, I'm the ancestor of this person that says, oh, look, Mr. Straight Facts is my great, whatever the hell, right? And said he used to live in Indianapolis, Indiana on the east side, and I got a picture of his home. That's where my people are from. And some 3,000 years later, that relative comes back and says, hey, sir, I know you live on this land, but my great, Mr. Straight Facts used to live here. This is where he's from. Now it's mine. That person's going to say, the fuck if it is. I've been living here. My family's been here for 200 years. Well, my family came there 3,000 years ago. I don't give a fuck when they came here. And I proceed to unalive and rape his family and destroy his family and kick them off the land, the ones that I don't kill. And I take over his land, big old luscious farmland, possibly. You know what I'm saying? Just a lot of land. I just take that shit. And I tell him, this is where I am going to place Mr. Straight Facts Opia. That's where that person is going to do. Make it Mr. Straight Facts Opia. And nobody else can live on it. And anybody lives next to me, I'm just going to bomb the hell out of them whenever they come near my land. 3,000 years later, the descendants of me come back and take the house in which I lived in, the land in which I lived on, and claim it as theirs. Does that shit make any sense to you? Fuck no, it doesn't. And that's what people want you to believe, that it's okay. It's not okay. It's not. Now, we are where we are, but quit selling us the lies. How can we solve this? Well, one of the ways I look at it is this. You've been unaliving and killing them for so fucking long that they formed militia groups to fight you back. And then we feel all bad that they unalived you, but nobody knows the history of how you unalived them from jump. They have been harboring the hell in which you have been putting on them for decades upon decades upon decades. And every time they respond back, they're the bad guy. And you're not. Because you got America and its demoness ass supporting you. You've got other countries supporting you and giving you money and giving you military systems that you can use against the people who own that land that you stole. And based on some biblical sense, somehow you belong there. Don't lie to the American people or anybody. The way you solve this is just like the Germans solved the problems with the Jewish people. They admitted that they unalived 6 million of you. They admitted that they was wrong. They said it publicly, and they gave you guys millions upon millions of dollars for decades upon decades that it just ended here recently in the 2000s. That was 1948 when it happened. You have been collecting a check from Germany all that fucking time for reparations for what they did to you after they admitted what was wrong. Now, Jewish people, I don't have a hateful bone in my body, but you are lying to the American people. Your people killed them to take their land based off your biblical thought processes. Like I said, if I'm not a part of your religion, that's some Scooby-Doo snack shit. I don't care about your religion. You killed people because you wanted a land that you thought you belonged to that they already had, and they never killed you. You came and raped and murdered and killed them. They accepted you into their world. And you're the one that betrayed them. It is up to you to say you're sorry. It is up to you to pay your reparations. And it's up to you to be treated, to treat others like someone treated you. You were treated with respect by the Jews, by the Germans who admitted at fault and paid reparations. You will not give that same respect to the Muslims, and I don't understand why. You are not the victim in this situation. You are a victim of the 12th or whatever that day in October. Yes. But you're not the victim in these two countries, this battle. You are the colonizer. You are the original killer, the original rapist, the original murderer. Tell the fucking truth. Shame the devil. Tell me where I'm lying. I have no problems in listening to people that come to me with actual facts. But if you're going to come with me and tell me about some Canaanite shit that you can't prove, and this thing is what kills me about this. Even if you were going to come to me with a biblical sense, I want you to understand something. The Jewish people never were the owners of that entire land at that time. There was the Israelites. There was the Canaanites. There were at least 5 groups of people that lived there at that time. You did not own the entire land back then. You shared it with people. And now you've become just like America became, just like any other tyrant country became. You've taken over people's land and act like it was yours to begin with. It was your right to take. It was not. You stole it, and you need to apologize for what you did. This cannot end. These endless lies will happen, unaliving the people. These murders will continue until you admit your fault. Do you see Germany out there killing any Jewish people, or Jewish people killing people from Germany? No, you don't. Why don't you? Because they admitted their faults, they paid you off, and you shut the fuck up, and they shut the fuck up, and they moved on. The reason why this shit's still festering is because you're lying through your fucking teeth, Jewish people. Israel, you're lying through your fucking teeth. You know it. And it won't end until you admit the truth, and then they admit their faults, and then you work on a two-party state, two-state situation. Leave them the fuck alone. Give them their opportunity to have their world, their land. The least you can do is share it right now at this point. Faithfully and honestly. They should be able to control their own water. Should be able to control their own electricity. They should be able to have their own property. We should be able to invest in them and help them build hotels. We should be able to do that shit. I am not behind continuing to do what you've always done to these groups of people. You do not have my support personally in this fuckery that you call Zionism, when you done bastardized the actual term like it means something good. Zionism is white nationalism. It is Jewish nationalism. It is saying that state should be just like you, looking white, and that's it. Well, those brown people were there before you were there. If you don't understand this for a second, Jesus was a brown Jew. Most of y'all are white Jews. So you can even argue that it belonged to the brown Jews and not you. If you look in the Bible, they didn't look like you. Am I lying? This can only be solved if y'all admit your faults in it. And it's up to Israel to apologize to the Palestinians. It is up to Israel to pay reparations for what you did. Because otherwise, you're a fucking hypocrite. Because you were upset with what Hitler and Germany did to you. And you bring it up to everybody's face about it being anti-Semitic. Fuck all that. I'm not stupid. You can tell that shit to dumbass people. But you also understand, if you're not smart enough to understand it, or you haven't studied it at all, Israel, and Jewish people from Israel, tell the truth to shame the devil. Tell me, are the Muslims over there, the Palestinians, are they not Semites too? Oh, so you're trying to colonize the Semite world. Those Muslims over there, those Palestinians over there, they're Semites too. So that makes you anti-Semitic if you're anti-Palestinians. Am I right? Fuck yeah, I'm right. You guys hijacked it. You make anti-Semite be about Jewish people. It's not. Anti-Semite is about anti-Semitic people. And there are a shit ton of Semitic people, not just Jewish people. I'm not going to sit here and be gaslit and tell me the same way that racist white people act is the exact same way that these Zionists act. They want you to believe just because they'll bring up their 6 million all the time that died. I'm like, you're right about that. But that goes toward the Germans. And what did they do? They made reparations to you. What did they do? They admitted they fucked up. What did they do? They took down everything and made it illegal for you even to mention fucking Hitler's name or wear a swastika. They did right by you. And what did you do? Did wrong by the Muslims and continue to do so and want to throw up the 6 million when you already got did right for that. Even though it was horrible, you got did right. Nobody's giving black people reparations for slavery, have they? And we keep fighting for it. You guys always would say to black people, y'all still arguing about that? You got reparations for it, baby. You ain't arguing about it because they did right by you. But you want people to believe that the Muslims, the Palestinians did to you what Hitler did to you. Please don't bring up when we talk about Palestinians. Shut your mouth about what happened in Germany. That is not the same thing. What you did was the exact same thing Hitler did, but you went about it a different way. And you know what's the sad part about it? You were successful. Hitler failed. Tell the truth, shame the devil. You were successful in doing what Hitler wanted to do. Hitler failed. You succeeded. These are the truths, and they're hurtful. I get it. But like I said, I'm Mr. Straight Facts. I'm going to tell you the truth, whether it hurts or if it makes you feel good. That's not my point, to make you feel good or bad. I want the truth because I'm sick of this disease humans have called lying. You want to make yourselves feel better by lying to the world and your own people. I guarantee you, your children for generations have been lied to that they are so brainwashed. They believe in the bullshit of Zionism being like, it's just want us to be fairly treated. That bullshit. It was meant to kill other people so that you would become the main source. The white nationalist ideology is the actual Zionist ideology. Go look it up. Don't take my word for it. I didn't always know this. I didn't know this my entire life. I've got friends who were Jewish my entire life growing up. Played soccer with many people who are Jewish people. I took their words for this shit. I never looked it up. That's my fault. But growing up, I never looked it up. I was always 100% down for the Jewish people. But then I found out you were lying to me and your children. All I had to do was crack open a book and learn. Because you're good people, personally, I took your word for it. And when I learned about it, I felt betrayed by you. Because the truth is not what you're spraying and putting out there. That's not the truth. Now, if there is some additional truths that are not in books that you may have in some historical book, then speak or forever hold your peace on that shit. But other than that, there is no book that I found that justified what you did to the Palestinians. They never harmed you. It was you that came over and harmed them. It's wrong. And the only way to solve this, I believe, is that you have to do exactly what the Germans did for you, Jewish people. You have to admit you were wrong, just like they did. You have to take down any hateful shit you have for the Muslims down, just like they did. You got to admit that you did kill, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands over these years, if not 1 million or whatever. You got to admit that shit. And you have to give them reparations for the shit the original sin, to go to their country with the hopes of having a new place to live when you really meant to kill them. You went and lived alongside of them and lied to them that you just wanted a new country to live in. And you was just like a Trojan horse. You brought yourselves there for one reason and one reason only: to kill everybody there that you could and take over and be the #1 culture in that area and call it Israel instead of what it was called before. Tell the truth, shame the devil. This is the part where they don't want us to be woke, y'all. No matter what culture, they don't want you to be woke because the lie they've been told they want to cling to. Well, I was lied to on all this shit. And I'm not clinging to nothing but the facts. And I ain't listening to nobody but the truth. I don't give a fuck about your feelings. Facts are facts. And these murders for no reason, it's countless ones. If you was grown up enough to admit you're false, the shit would end. But you're greedy. You're hateful. And that's why this shit continues. So don't blame anybody but yourself that these things will continue to happen. It is the lies you told your people, the reason why they're getting blown up and killed. It is your search for power, regardless of whom you hurt, is the reason why these things continue to happen. And until, like I said, you do as the Germans did, and I want to give kudos to the Germans because in history so far, they're the only group of people that I found to admit their fucking fault and pay for it without bitching and moaning about it for I don't know how many fucking decades. And look, there's peace among them as far as we know. We don't see them going to war with each other. Germany did the right thing. It's up to you, Israel, to do the right thing. Admit your faults. Pay for what you did. And then separate and do your own thing. 2 different states in that area. It's already done in a situation of nobody's kicking you off the land. You got your spot. You got your family. You done did what you did. But admit that shit and let them have theirs. They deserve it. They did nothing to you. You're the one who started it all. And you're the one that keeps starting it back up. A lot of people weren't told before they ended up unaliving these people. You had attacked them again. Tell the truth, shame the devil. You attacked them prior to them attacking you this last time. Where they killed all those people and took hostages, you had attacked them weeks before. Tell the truth, shame the devil. You just didn't mention it. America didn't mention it. It didn't make the news. But that was a retaliation. That was not just an original attack. Tell the truth. This is the part where it pisses me off that we continue to have these fights and keep on making the brown people the enemy, and it's almost always the white people doing it. Look at them. I'm like, what happened the week before? I don't know. You mean tell me you didn't kill like 300 of them the week before? I didn't make the news. I didn't see it. It's just terrible, y'all. It's just terrible. Yeah. Yes. South Africa essay. Yeah. Thank you very much, DJ. I appreciate you. So that's what I had to get. Else, notice that he treated the white male delegate whom confirmed what his president had been saying more respectfully than that. Oh yeah, yeah. Um, like I said, I already know racism when I see it, but we got to move. To me personally, I got to move past that and move toward how we can unite the people who are good uh, on issues that we all care about. And like I said, for members, I will be having a meeting on at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Zoom. If you are a member, you will see that link in the comment section of or the community section. It tells you the time and it gives you the link. And I will be there at 12 p.m. I'm gonna give it to you like this. This is how I do things. Okay, it's because I believe in time being precious for all people. There's times that I understand that we can be late. I don't have a problem with that. Things happen, life happens. But I usually give it 10 minutes, at the most 15. If a soul does not show up in 10 to 15 minutes, just know I was there, but I bounced. I'm not going to spend half the day or half an hour or 15 minutes just waiting on people to show up. So I'm gonna give you that 10 to 15 minutes in. So if you look at your clock and it's like 20 after, oh, I forgot. Don't show up. Do not, because I'm gone. But you can go look if somebody else showed up before you. But if you walk into the room and say, nobody here, 20 minutes after, yeah, I'm come and gone. But we'll have another meeting after that. That's just how I do. I just keep it moving. I'm always a busy person. So I got time to speak with people when I set time aside. But I'm not going to sit there and wait. No disrespect. But that's just how it is. I want to thank all my members for showing up. I appreciate you. Thank you, Swift Returns. Thank you, Kristen Thompson. What we got? Keep going up. And I don't want to disrespect anybody. And by not getting your name out here real quick, give me a second. Of course, DJ, thank you. Appreciate you. What did I do here? I did that wrong. Oh. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, there we go. I did say that. I said Kristen. I think that's it, huh? I'm coming up there. I don't know. I didn't see Interplanet Janet. I know there's a bunch of people who are members also go to other shows. There you go. Rude Interplanet Janet was here. Thank you. Uh, they end up going back and forth. I haven't been able to go check out other people's shows. Let me see. I think that's everybody who came in that was members. So thank you guys for showing up and showing out. I appreciate you. You know, I'll be back here tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I moved it so I can make it on time. I appreciate every one of y'all. I always try to bring you the facts. You know, this tonight was a history lesson, and again, for people who are Jewish, I don't have any hate in my heart or malice towards you whatsoever. I hate lies, period. And any human being can get the smoke on lies, because if I'm lying to you, that means I don't respect you. If you're gonna try and fill my earwaves with a bunch of BS, that tells me right then you disrespect me, you hate me, you got an issue with me, right? And I don't take that kindly. Now I understand people can get stuff messed up. You can make a mistake, and that's fine. But I am not the one to be lied to. I will light up because of that. Because the things behind lying to somebody, it tells you what that person feels about you, and therefore I give you that same smoke, that same energy. And so those people are out there spreading the lies of what this and that means and everything I said. Please go check it. Go do your homework on it. You can watch it again or just fast forward and get to that part and research and say, hey, he was right about this. He may be wrong about this or whatever. Then we can actually, like, again, I always say iron sharpens iron. Long as we're working off the foundation of facts and we can be able to deal with that, then we can go places. But if we're both working off, one's working off facts and another one works off shaded lies or feelings or whatever, then we really aren't going forward. You know, we're going backwards. I don't mind people telling me the truth if it's painful. I don't care, because the reality is, I look at it this way. If I go to a doctor and the doctor says I have some, you know, like I feel I have a certain ailment that's going to unalive me, I don't want the doctor to lie to me and say, nah, you got a cold, when I got something worse than that. I'm like, I want the truth. I don't care how bad it is. Tell me the truth. And that's the way I think about lies. To me, it's like it's a dagger. It's trying to kill the spirit between me and you. And if you're going to lie to me, that means you don't like me. You hate me. You got a problem with me. And if that's the case, why are you talking to me? Why are you around me? And that's the way I look at it. So for me, I'll give you the truth. And if I ever give you something that's not factual, trust, I did my homework. I may have gotten a bad source. And I will recant that shit in a heartbeat once I find the truth. Again, iron sharpen iron. All right? So you guys have a great night. Someone trash talking you, Drew? Nah, ain't nobody trash talking me. Not at all, not at all. That's just me just saying, you know, that's just me coming from the heart, bro. Just saying this is who I am and this is why I am. And I just don't like it. I just never did. And, you know, we've all lied, don't get me wrong, to protect ourselves from something or whatever. But there was a certain phase in my life where I say, you know what? I don't want that. I want the raw truth. And I always tell people who I love and care about, if you don't want the truth, don't ask me. Because I love you too much to lie to you. Just point blank, period. Even my girlfriend be like, lie to me. I'm not, nah, I tell you straight up truth. I'm not going to lie. Because I don't want to try to remember that lie. I don't want that lie to sit on my soul. I don't want it. You take it. Lie to yourself. But I'm not about to do it. All right. I love you guys. Y'all take it easy. I will see you once I break this down here. There we go. I will see you when I see you.